All right, so again, there's a couple GCFs up here first, okay? We've got a 3, and then divide 3 into both of those, you get x plus 2. We've got a 6, and divide 6 into both of those, you got x plus 2. You okay with that? Can you factor the x plus 1? No. Can you factor the x squared minus 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. Difference of squares, right? They're both perfect squares and a minus between them. What's the square root of x squared? What's the square root of 1?
1.
Plus and minus. Now, you look for common factors. By common factors, they have to be exactly the same, right? And one has to be in a numerator, and the other one has to be in a denominator to cancel it. Okay? So, that whole thing and that whole thing are exactly the same, right? So I can cancel it. Let's get this going, sorry. I see an x plus 2 in the bottom and 1 in the top. What goes into 3 and 6? 3, right? 3 divided by 3? 6 divided by 3. Okay? So remember, this is not here anymore, right? Because I factored it. That's not here and that's not here, right? So what's left in the top? 2. And what's left in the bottom? Minus 1, right? We don't have to do any restrictions like we did the other day. What would be the restrictions? 1, -1, and -2, if we had to. Okay? But we're not worried about that on this multiplication and division. All right? When we're just simplifying, when they're going to tell us or ask us to find, any values for the variable that makes it undefined, which means restriction. Now, what do I have to do on this one? On this division? Reciprocal, right? Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and factor this as I go. Are there factors of positive 3 that add up to 4? 3 and 1, right? That's a difference of squares, right? What's the square root of x squared? Thanks, you guys. What's the square root of 4? Plus and minus, right? Now remember, we're turning it into multiplication. So this bottom one, the minus 6x plus 8 one, goes up top. And it's a regular trinomial. There was no GCF. What are factors of positive 8 that add up to -6? -2, right? And then this plus 2x minus 3 goes in the bottom, and that's another regular trinomial. There was no GCF, so the only way to get x squared was x times x. What are factors of -3 that add up to positive 2? Positive 3, -1. So now it's all factored. Questions up to this point. So remember, you flip the second fraction and make it multiplication, which we call the reciprocal, right? So now I'm looking for factors that look exactly the same. I see a x plus 3 in the top and the bottom. I see an x minus 2 in the top and the bottom, right? And that's it. I can't cancel this x plus 1 and this x minus 1. They have to be exactly the same. Okay? So my numerator is going to be x plus 4 and x minus 4. My denominator is going to be x plus 2 and x minus 1. And you can just leave it like that. You don't have to FOIL it out and make the trinomials. Just leave it like that fraction with its factored form. Okay? Isn't that what we were working on yesterday? Of course it was the last few days, right? Factor first before you cancel. If you see pluses and minuses. When you don't see any pluses or minuses, When you don't see any pluses or minuses, then you can go ahead and cancel. After you do what for this one? After you flip it, right? Okay, so understand the difference. Okay, here's one that we gotta solve. Right? You didn't have to do that for warm up, so let's just do it though. How do I factor that numerator? There's no GCF. What's it called? 2x minus 1 won't factor. Isn't that a perfect square? Isn't 1 a perfect square? Is there a minus between them? Yeah, what's the square root of 4x squared? 2x. What's the square root of 1? Then what? Addition and subtraction. What always is happening on this type of problem, this bottom always cancels, right? So most of the time, the bottom part is one of the factors of the top. So you got half of it done, half of it factored. Okay? So my problem is then 2x plus 1 equals 9. Okay? So I subtract 1 from both sides, which is 2x equals 8, and divide by 2, so I get 4. Now, check your solution means to check where? The what? Yeah, plug it in for x, but really all I need to plug it in is where? Top or bottom? Why the bottom? To check to see if it equals 0. If you get 0, then what do you say about 4? No solution, you can't use it, right? You with me? Okay, Wyndham, you back with us now? Like you zoned out?
No.
Good. All right, so what's 2 times 4? 8 minus 1, 7. Is 4 okay? Yeah, the only time it's not okay again is when? If you would get 0 when you plug that into the bottom. All right, so that was the types of problems we were working on last night. Okay. So we had, where did we start? 18 or something like that? Oh, 8. 8 to 16. That's right. I knew there was a team. 8 to 16 even and 38, right? All right, number 8 is 2 over x plus 2. Number 10 is x minus 4 over x plus 2 times x minus 2. Number 12 is 1 over x minus 1. 14 is x plus 1 over x plus 3. 16 is 5. And then 38 was 2 over x times the quantity, 5x plus 7. Let's look at 16 and 38, and any others. You got any others you want to look at? Then I'll do 16 and 38. No others? Okay. So 16 was like this one. So 2x squared plus 7x minus 15. So I wanted to show you a trick here. I lost my spot. 2x minus 3 equals 10. So what I just get done saying about that 2x minus 1 is usually one of the factors, right? So the 2x minus 3 is probably one of the factors, right? Okay, so I'm going to check that, right? I'm going to say 2x minus 3 is one of the factors. So 2x times what is 2x squared? x. Negative 3 times what is negative 15? Positive 5. Let's check it. First is 2x squared. Outside is 10x. Inside is minus 3x. What's 10 minus 7? I'm sorry, minus 3. 7. And then negative 3 times 5. Okay? So, to save yourself some time on this type of problem, this is always going to be one of the factors of the numerator. Okay? So, did you see how I got those two? I looked at these two. Okay? 2x. So basically I did 2x squared divided by the 2x, get that x. And I did negative 15 divided by the negative 3 to get the positive 5. Then just check it to make sure, but it's going to work. Does that make sense what I'm telling you? A little shortcut for those. Okay? So then these will cancel, right? So my problem then is x plus 5 equals 10. And then just subtract 5. Now check it in the original problem. 2 times 5 is 10, minus 3 is 7. 5 is okay, right? Thank you, sir. All right, the last one I wanted to go over also, number 38. One over 25x squared minus 49. It's division problem, so I'm going to write it as a multiplication problem. So I have to flip this second fraction. So it'll be 10x minus 14 over x. Did you remember to do that? Multiply by the reciprocal. Okay. So I'm going to factor this. There's no GCF, but those are both perfect squares, so there's a minus between. What's the square root of 25x squared? 5x. What's the square root of 49? Plus and minus, right? What's the GCF? 2. What's 10x divided by 2? 5x. What's negative 14 divided by 2? Negative 7, right? So, I see the 5x minus 7s as being the same. One top, one bottom, right? So, 1 times 2 is 2 for the numerator. And then 5x plus 7 times x is the denominator. There's our answer, number 38. A lot of us get stuck. You know, we're used to seeing just x squared and a minus 1 or 4 or 9 on our difference of squares. Okay? A lot of times we don't see, you know, a 4x squared or a 25x squared or an 81x squared. Those are still perfect squares, right? Any other questions on this? Okay. So remember, before you factor, make sure it's in the right order, right? Sometimes they mess with you, right? What should be first? The x squared, right? And then the x, and then the constant. Also, we like the x squared to be positive, remember? So what do we do if it was negative? Factor out negative 1 like a GCF, yes. Okay? We were simplifying fractions. We also had some variation problems, remember? If you see something that says varies directly, what do you got to put in the problem? K times. If you see varies inversely. So what do I put? K divided by. If you see varies jointly, K times two things, right? So there's a couple variation problems, a couple simplifying problems, multiplication, division, and a problem like this one. Okay? There's 7 problems on your practice quiz. That's gonna be your homework. We'll go over that Monday, and your quiz will be Tuesday.
I'm, no, hard to.